Okay, so something that also I wanted to touch on, because there was a few like kind of major like the no one can get around these things now. Um, it's really a trouble for liberal Jews outside of Israel, maybe even the ones in Israel, that now they have to really face like no. There's something about thinking that is left of moderate that starts to include, especially what obviously is a desire for a type of cultural collectivism, but that with news stories. And there's a lot of people that because they're more artistic and they like making songs and shows and things, we're like, yeah, I see. That makes perfect sense. That's what I'm talking about. It's kind of a new era with new sounds and new stories and this and that. With the idea, really, what this is vanity. You're just taking what was good and saying, well, I mean, what I like is better. What my original is better. And this is a notorious failure of performing arts with the band. When people don't get why you have a good cover. You have a really good, solid cover. There's a reason why Stagger Lee gets covered so many times. There's a reason why Dirty Old Town gets covered so many times. There's a reason why Waltzing Matilda gets covered so many times. There's some songs that when bands cover them, because everyone knows the song, because it's one of our songs. So people who insist on doing originals all the time, it tells you a lot about them. And it tells you it, and sure enough, it was something I didn't want to think until I dealt with going to enough shows, kind of in the later end of really my not even young life, but that I got to see a lot of, like, there were certain subcultures that you always covered. And what, like, if you go to a punk show and oi show, they will cover Where Eagles Dare. It's a great song. It's a fun, I mean, everyone knows it. Lyrics are simple. It's kind of weird, to some guys, but they remember it from their youth, and it's fun. It's just a fun song. If it's, what was it? Somebody up here once, what was it? Oh, not the Pirate Punks. I think it was a Pirate Punk show. But it was, and that was a whole thing up here, a whole subculture, where they brought back the old sound, and it was really great. It was a really good time. Those guys were those were good boys. And so, one of the groups, can't believe I'm forgetting, it was the tattoo guy who was like fully tattooed, like all over his body. Like and his brother was called Scary, and also was heavily tattooed, had a very Misfits look to him. And from what I understood, they might have been twins. And you didn't realize it until you saw them together, that you realized they were twins, because they were so punk rock looking that you're like, oh, you guys are twins. Oh, well, okay. But they covered Where Eagles Dare, and then I think they covered Dead Kennedys' Night of the Living, if you know the bit. It was them or another group that came into town, and it was a good time because everybody knew the bit. Everybody remembered it from the old album. So as they're going through the thing, and it was a guitar string broke. That was the joke. He goes, oh, his guitar string broke, and then now we can't play Ride, we can't play anything, and everybody exploded. They're like, yes, oh my God, yes, let's do this. And everyone, we were all drunk, went through the whole bit with him. That's a good cover. So, we probably sold more beer that way. So, the thing that a lot of people aren't getting, like liberal Jews who got to see a period of time that, I mean, comedians and writers and artists, Billy Joel, Friends, Seinfeld, Friends, Taxi, you know, Laverne and Shirley, all of these different, you know, shows that they relied on this old-fashioned kind of humor from, you know, and this way of knowing the funny and landing the funny, and Lorne Michaels. I mean, come on, Billy Crystal. What are we talking about here? You know, we had all this. We had it. And so by the time you get to about 2000, you know, the Occupy period, there could have been this moment of, okay, what do we have as a culture that makes that it's intrinsically valuable? And we had all this great writing, scientific thinkers, all this good stuff and it could have been, there could have been a recapitulation about like what, you know, and then a kind of a redirection where we are, who we are, where we're going. Gerald Celente had talked about around that time that he's like, we really need kind of a renaissance, but only there's going to be a lot of wealthy people have to stick their neck out in a way, and there's going to have to be a lot of people looking for that opportunity. He goes, that you can't just make that happen. He was explaining, he goes, we have to try to make this some kind of thing in the culture. But it got squashed. It got squashed because it was the leftists cheated you. And they cheated you out of peace, which you kind of had. And now all over the Anglosphere, liberal Jews, you have to look out for these people. Like you guys do. Like, this isn't like, in Israel, they're solving their problem. You guys want to do this to us. Right. You know, and they're solving it. Now there's a whole bunch of Sunni that are not really that worried about Shia Iran. They're like, boy, you know, we were kind of worried about those guys, but not anymore. And now it's New York. Now it's going to be, you know, places like LA. Now it's going to be, you know, you look kind of like a Jew. You know, it's going to be those kind of phrases. It's going to be that kind of stuff. And it's going to take you forever to figure it out. And that this has nothing to do with people who voted for Trump. We tried. And you guys kept just digging in, gritting your teeth even more. Now you have Jennifer Rubin, almost like the queen of, the leader of the pack. And she's like cheering on the euthanization of a pet. I mean, and it's, what the hell? What have you become? What are we supposed to do to protect you when these maniacs start coming after you here in the States? Like, we need you to wake up. We can't help, you're going to have to start figuring out, police actually aren't there to put black people in chains. No, the police, you're going to have to start figuring this out. Who's actually going, and this is the part that galls me. Just ask any question about Judaism to anybody left of center. That kind of moderate, normal, liberal, left of center kind of thing that now everybody is. Just ask them anything about it. Like, ask them, like who is Shlomo? See if they know the name. I know who Shlomo is because I own a copy of the Zohar, because there's these people who write amazing books and this is a really important one to them, so I figured I should know something about it. There was this guy, like, you know, he was all into physics. You know, you guys, he's a mathematician, but he got really into physics. And usually, you know, because, you know, he kind of knew what he was talking about, people read him. Ask your, really, just humor me. Ask your liberal friend, what can't I eat? What am I not supposed to eat? We can tell you. You gotta help us help you, because one of these days they're going to get you. They're going to start coming after you. They're already doing it at your schools, and that's it. You're going to have to figure this out. You're going to have to wake up and figure this out, because we can't help you if you won't help us help you. This isn't a miracle thing that suddenly people are going to see, oh, how unjust. No, we can't beat the maniacs up. We can't beat the wackos up. We can't solve the problem. That's the thing. We're being prevented from that. Everybody who wants to make sure that nobody does stuff to you in the synagogue and nobody does mean things to you, we're being tied down by all kinds of groups of do-gooders that are like, hey, whatever you do, don't stop this guy from fucking stealing your buddy's car, because that would be wrong. And, you know, no, you got to help us help you. Because it's, if you don't help us help you, at some point, it's just going to go wrong. Because I was there in the 90s, and the 9mm makes everybody equal. And that's what we learned in the 90s. Old men will kill you. So it's just one of these things that after a while, you're going to have to start getting. You don't want the young to learn these things. This can't be repeated. The fact that only the negatives of the 70s and the 90s seem to be what's being repeated effectively is not, no. It's not going to work. Can't allow it anymore. So, all right. I'm going to see if the coffee line's kind of short. Later.